I am so excited to have you join me today on the My WHIM Life show. As always, I want you to tell my little corner of the world a little bit about you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for having me on. I actually see your videos online and thought, oh, that's so sweet that she does that. And when you asked me, I was thrilled and honored and excited all at the same time. So thanks for having me. I am an open book, so I tend to make a short story long, but I will try to tell you a little bit about me with its relevant. So I'm Idaho native. I grew up in McCall mostly, graduated from high school in McCall. I'm actually fourth generation to graduate high school there. My kids were the fifth. So I grew up in Idaho. I love Idaho like crazy. Thought about moving away sometimes, but I always come back to there's really not a better place in this world than Idaho. So grew up skiing. My dad was an Olympic skier. It was sort of our religion growing up. We didn't really go to church. We went to the ski hill, and uh, and had a great relationship with my parents. It was the three of us growing up. I have three half brothers, but they didn't live with us, so it was my parents and I growing up, and great childhood, and went to Boise State and stopped going to Boise State before I graduated and had babies and a couple of marriages, and finally decided to go back to school at about 45. I started playing ice hockey at 38, so I think I really kind of started living later on in life. Went back to school at 45 and finally got my degree and went into the financial advising world, the financial professional world, and now I am a full-time financial professional and help women and all people really, but I really love working with women getting their money act together and helping them with their future and being empowered. And like I said, I love to play ice hockey. I am married to my husband Chris, who is third time's the charm for me, and we raise bird hunting dogs. My kids, Sarah and Brandon, are both grown and out of the house. We found out this weekend one of them's got engaged, so they're both up and out, and I'm just enjoying life with my husband, and doing some camping and fishing and all the things that you do in Idaho.
Yeah, I was going to say all the things you do in Idaho.
Yeah. I love to golf, love to be outside, love to be active, all of those things. So.
Fantastic. I know just from talking to you previously, like your passion really is helping women. Where did that come from? Did you have an experience in your life that made you go, I went through this and I want to help others go through it?
A few of them, actually, a couple of them. Like I said, I stopped going to school my junior year in college. I thought I wasn't going to be a teacher. And I got sent into a second grade classroom as a student teacher, and about 3 months later, I'm like, I don't want to be a teacher. I just don't. I can't do this. So I changed my major to business, thinking, okay, I'll just get a business degree and figure it out. And really liked the law, and ended up going to legal secretarial school, and then started a wedding planning business. Did that for 15 years with, like I said, I had husband number one and then husband number two. During husband number two, I received a pretty substantial inheritance from when my father died. And even with my dad's help and the books he gave me, and Amy, don't spend it all in one place. And between a husband that was spending it like crazy and not telling me, and my own dreams and thinking that I could afford it now, I actually ended up having to file bankruptcy 4 years later. And it was like, how did that go? I mean, I'm from a family who knows how to do this, and how did I not do that right? And it wasn't until a couple of years later, after I'd gone back to school and got recruited into going into this industry. When I went back to school, I was like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I'm going to leave it up to the universe to kind of help me figure it out. And about a year into the back to school, I got recruited by a friend of mine who was in the financial services industry. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell life insurance. Oh, that just sounds awful. It just sounds like the worst job, right? And I think about death and all of those things. But my dad, who had always followed me and always supported me, and even through all of my ups and downs and the bankruptcy, and I can't believe you did that, shaking his finger at me, he found out what I was doing and came and met with our people at the company. And he took me to dinner and he said, Amy, I think maybe you finally found it. You're a planner, you're organized. I think you can do this. And then my dad died 4 days later. And after all of that and his support and all of that, it just was one of those things. Well, when he did that, he left quite a bit of money to my mom. And he took really good care of her. He married her when she was 21, and he was quite a bit older, and she was a great wife to him. And he was in a plane crash 20 years before he died, 18 years before he died. But she took really, really good care of him, but she never really knew how to do the money part. And so when he died and she had this money, he always said, well, the accountant and the attorney will take care of you. Well, she wasn't getting that from the male accountant and the male attorney. Nothing to say about males. However, she wasn't getting the empathy. She wasn't getting any kind of education from them. She wasn't getting any of that from them. And I was able, because I was now in this industry, even though I was brand new, was able to take that and make it so that she now doesn't even have to think about money. She knows she has it. She knows that she's okay. She knows what's going to happen for the rest of her life. And she's got this semblance of knowledge. And so between those two things in my life, the bankruptcy and the inheritance, if I would have had somebody in my life like me, then my life would have gone completely different, right?
Sure.
And then also helping her get that. There's so many women that just don't know what to ask. They don't know the questions to ask. And so, yeah, it's all personal, and it's all me wanting to just help women feel empowered to do it themselves. We can. Yeah. With or without a husband, but we still can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in the more modern world that we're in, where almost every household has both people work on a regular basis, I think us as women, we really need to make sure that we understand these things. My mom was the same way. Luckily my dad had talked to myself and my sister about his situation, so that when he passed, Courtney and I could easily take a look at what was going on and make sure that mom was okay. And she's been super great about, well, don't just do it for me. Tell me what you're doing. Explain it to me. So I think there's real power and self-esteem in knowing what exactly is going on with your money. So that's super important.
For sure. And I really feel like I'm in the exact space I'm supposed to be. Like followed whatever it was, and that's why that's why you go through the struggles you do, is so that you can help other people with those kind of things. So yeah,
I absolutely agree. So on this journey, now that you've found your passion and which direction you want to go, what are some of the habits that you utilize on a daily basis that keep you on track?
Habits. I try with habits. I truly want to make habits that work for me. I really, it starts with the alarm clock. One of my favorite books is that 5-second rule, and one of the biggest thing is putting your alarm in the other room. And when it goes off, you get up. And, I have a little trouble sleeping sometimes. So that's really hard, because I'm like, but I only got 4 hours of sleep, right? You still have to get up, and you still have to be in bed by a certain time. So that's one of the biggest things for me. And I've also found out that I kind of lose interest in my day about 3 o'clock, not in the whole day, just in actually making my brain work for the whole day. So just giving myself a lot of grace there and making sure that I know that I can go if it's something that interests me, I could do it after 3 o'clock. But I try to do most of my thinking day in the morning. And so that's the other thing about the alarm clock is because I know that if I get up, I can get all that stuff done instead of wasting my day away. And then the other thing, this is the new thing that I'm trying to do, and I'll show you. So I've been through planners and productivity apps and all of the things that you're trying to get your stuff together with. And I finally decided that I was going to make my own. And so I took all of the pieces out of planners that I like, and I made my own planner, and I bind it at Kinko's. I print it all pretty, and I put vision boards in it, and I put habits that I want to do and checklists and things. But I made it exactly for me. I didn't pick one that, 90% of that works, but I don't like this corner over here and whatever. And I only do it monthly instead of the whole year. And so just making myself know me enough to be able to do those little things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, and I think everyone's so different when it comes to those habits. I mean, there's some standard things that just about everyone does, which waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth, these are all common things. We've all got to do that every day. But when you get into productivity and some of the other things that we need to do, it's so individualized. And I love that you're embracing that. You're like, it's not a one size fits all for me. I really want to see which pieces work for me and put those to work and letting go of the rest instead of feeling like you're obligated to do all the things.
Yeah. And thank God for Canva, because that's where I did that, and it's amazing. Yeah. So it's
love our free tools.
A couple girls in my office are like, give me the template, please. So
hey, you can always sell that.
Yeah.
Anytime you create something. I love it. So outside of work, I know you do a couple of outdoor activities for fun. You like to golf, but not great at it. And you play ice hockey. So
I do.
Tell me about that.
So I started, do you want me to tell you the whole story, the funny story, which is not, it's not completely PC, but it's close enough.
Oh, you should totally
cut it out if you want. So my son playing ice hockey when he was side note, my husband now was the guy that was taking the registrations, but I was married to somebody else at the time. But it was McCall, and we all knew each other. And we would play these parent-kid games, and the kids were 7, right? They'd skate like crazy, and we would borrow gear, and it was all stinky, and we put it on, and we'd go try to play with our kids, and they would skate between our legs, and we'd fall down, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to, and I could ice skate. I took 3 months worth of ice skating lessons because I was going to New York and I wanted to do a spin on Rockefeller Center. So I took 3 months of figure skating lessons to do that prior to this. And then I really wanted to learn to play ice hockey. And my ex-husband at the time says, well, I don't want you to play ice hockey. And I said, why? And he said, well, because you'll probably start sleeping with the coach. And I'm like, which was like, where did that come from? I mean, it was like this weird thing. So I didn't, because I was a good little wife. And the day I filed for the divorce for that guy, I actually went and joined the hockey team. And we were doing this brand new team, and there was a huge amount of people, women, that were playing hockey, and they had a team already. And that year it just grew by like 30 women. It was like there was so much interest, and they couldn't handle us all. So a couple of us girls said, okay, fine, we'll make our own team. We found ourselves a coach that would teach us how to play. And he was just this crass, really great guy that was just taught us to play hockey. He taught us to skate. He taught us to play hockey. And our first tournament, we were called the Charlie's Devils. So in McCall, there's a Loch Ness monster, or a lake monster named Charlie. And so instead of the Charlie's Angels, we were the Charlie's Devils. And we thought we were the coolest thing, and like we were awesome. And we were terrible. We were terrible. You would have watched paint drying. It would have been better. And the first tournament we played, we went to Vegas, and we we played in a tournament. We played against the Ice Angels, who were from Canada, and these people had been together for 20 years, right? These women. And we were like, you have to stay together because women's hockey is so amazing, and it's true. Women's hockey is this camaraderie that's just crazy. It's there's all types of different women and all different demeanors, but when we all get on the ice, and it's just an amazing time. We're cool people. But on a little bit of a side note on that, about 8 months after I started playing hockey, I again met my husband on the ice. He was a ref. And about 6 months later, we started dating. So my ex-husband was right in the long run. I didn't marry the man in the long run, but it's kind of a funny story how that all came to be. But it's the most fun thing I've ever done in my entire life. I didn't start till I was 38. I hope to play until I'm 80. And I hope it's never something I used to do. So it's been the joy of my life. And now everyone in my family plays. My son, my stepson, my husband, and my daughter took it up last year.
Oh my gosh, that is so fantastic. I love when people are able to find that thing that really, lights up their spirit, because we all have to work. We all have something that we're passionate about in helping people, but you also have to find that thing that lights the inner fire for you.
For sure.
What are some of the non-negotiables in your life? Things that no matter what, this is part of my either day-to-day or my regular life on a weekly or monthly basis. What are those things that you hold on to as your core?
My family is I will drop everything for my family. My mom is my core, my best friend, my husband. So, and then my kids, even though they're old, I still will answer the phone as soon as they call. So that's for sure it. Hockey, like I said, it's just something even if I go like these last few months with being home and the ice rink closed, and then they wanted us to wear masks to play hockey, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't go play hockey with a mask on. And so I stayed away from the ice, and I just am not afraid because I'll get back on the ice, but this has been too long. And like I said, I don't ever want this to be something I used to do forever. And my core and family and family, meaning my extended family, my heritage, where I came from. I grasp a lot onto that work ethic and things like that if I think that this wouldn't be something that my grandparents would do, it's something that I think about. And the United States, my patriotism. I'm a very patriotic person. I'm very red, white, and blue all the way, and I pride myself on being that patriotic person. So that's
I love that. So being an entrepreneur in any business takes drive and tenacity and for lack of a better word, habits that you do on a regular basis that really keep you focused and motivated. What are those things that you hang on to every day that really get your drive into full gear?
It's the not quitting. It's the I still haven't made it. I still am not. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not even close to where I want to be. And it's about kind of making my dad the thing my dad said. I think you finally found it. To be there is what keeps me drive. My dad used to every time he'd talk to me on the phone or write me a letter, he'd write, "Just keep swimming," because because of some of the struggles that I went through all before he died. Amy, just don't quit, just keep going. But Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do, and Dad, I'm lost, and Dad, I have no idea what I'm going to be when I grow up, and Dad, I screwed up again, and Dad, and but he always just said, just keep swimming, love, Dad. So Actually, if you hear my ringtone is Dory going, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
I love that.
And so, yeah, so that's, but this year I kind of decided that I was almost manifesting the just swimming part, like treading water almost. I kind of had this epiphany of, if I just keep swimming, I'm never gonna get there, right? I'm just gonna keep swimming. But I really just would like to fly, right? I want to go from swimming to flying. So even though I can't really take the just keep swimming off my phone, I decided to change my mindset a little bit and not swim anymore, but finally arrive. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So
For sure.
it changes. It's definitely changes.
Yeah, I think it changes on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Every time, if every time we hit a goal, we just said, "Yay, I've arrived," and then we stop, like that's not going to get us anywhere. The whole point is to then find the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. I love from an entrepreneur standpoint of just being in love with the journey. I'm not looking for any destination. I'm looking to love what I do enough on a day-to-day basis that it's not about getting there. It's
Right.
not about arriving. It's about the process in the middle.
Right. And there's goals though. So I have, these visions of my goals, and they're all in my little planner, and they're all in little pictures, and it's almost like my final goal. It's like the big goal of, I want a big pool in my backyard with a giant flamingo in the pool, that I can float on. And my husband, when I say, well, that pool is going there, and he's like, why do you talk about the pool? I said, because that's like, I have to get 15 other things accomplished first before I can feel good enough to be able to give myself that pool and feel like that's like, I've done it all and now this is my reward, right? Even though these are all other goals, all those things are other goals, but the pool is like the ultimate goal because I've done it all. So
Yeah.
when I say my vision is my pool, in my head I know that I've got 7 other things that I got to do before that pool arrives.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's always good to have that big goal that you're like, one of these days.
Mm-hmm. I actually made him go out last week and measure it out. And I'm like, okay, do 20 feet that way. And I go 40 feet that way. He's like, 40 feet. I said, yeah.
You're like, I said an enormous pool. I don't understand what you're not getting about enormous.
Yeah. Won't fit my flamingo if it's not that big. So, anyway.
I love it. I love it. You've obviously gone through your own sets of struggles as an entrepreneur. If you were to give out one piece of your best advice, what would that be?
It's funny, as I was thinking in the shower about the word entrepreneur, and when I was a kid, I asked my mom what my dad did, and she said, well, he's an entrepreneur. And I said, what does that mean? And she said, yeah, he does a little bit of everything. That's what I thought for a long time. I didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur until about a month ago. But and I'm kind of going through that with my daughter. And it's about hard work, and it's about keeping that vision and having a little bit of intuition of, yes, that's my vision and that's where I want to be, but you have to take care of these steps before. I'm really good at having an end result and knowing automatically within seconds the steps that we need to do to get there, and know that you can't jump over things. There's no shortcuts. You have to go through some struggles, unless it's not hitting the lottery. None of it is, right?
Right.
And so giving yourself the grace and not quitting. That's, this industry is hard. It's hard to find clients. It's hard to people have a hard time talking about their money. Opening up, it's very much a relationship business. And if it would have been my old me, I'd have been done 2 or 3 years ago. But I have finally found where where I know I need to be, and it's just about not quitting and knowing that it's coming and knowing that it's coming. It might take some different ways and it might take you to a different path than you thought you were going to be on, but it's coming, and you just have to know that. You just have to.
Yeah,
You deserve it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I absolutely am right there with you. So tell some of our friends if they are looking for financial planning and someone they can talk to that's been through the struggles, through what they have gone through, how can they reach you?
Amy Clark at financialguide.com is the best place. I do have a Facebook page. And if you just search me, you'll find my page. It's under a little bit of construction right now, but just search Amy Clark. You'll find my Calendly on both of those. And you can schedule an appointment. You can just schedule a phone call, a quick 15 minutes. Hey, just tell me, even if you just have a quick questions, there's no dumb questions. That's the biggest thing, is there's so many people that think, I don't want to go to a financial planner because I don't have enough money to go to a financial planner. But I don't just do that. I do, hey, let's figure out where you are now, where you want to be. If it's just that you just need a quick question answered, I might make it a little long answer because I don't have short answers, but it's not a dumb question, and probably somebody else has that question too. So there's no dumb questions, and I'm always open for stuff like that. And I'm not going to try to sell you life insurance on your first call, I promise. And it's just one of those, yeah. Amy Clark at financialguide.com is the best way, and you can go from there.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. And one last question that I love to ask, because everyone has such a unique response. How do you give back?
I am a great worker bee. So I have been president and I was a service unit director for Girl Scouts, and I've been president of this and president of that board. And I kind of decided a long time ago that I'm too scattered and I'm just too scattered to be a president and be all in on that one thing. So I just love to do little projects. If you need me for 2 hours for whatever, like a friend of mine from hockey last week put out on Facebook, hey, I'm spreading gravel in my backyard next week, and I really could use like 3 more sets of hands. And a bunch of us hockey players showed up. It was great. I'm also a member of the Capital City Kiwanis Club, which I really like it because, one, it's old school and patriotic. We say a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance before every meeting. So it's one of those things that goes with my core. But we do things all over. We pick up the highways. We serve hot chocolate at the botanical gardens. We read to kids. So it's just all kind of all over the place, and lets me do 2 or 3 hours and on something different all the time. So yeah. I'm a really, really great worker bee. I'm always available to help. I work with Dress for Success is one of my favorite things because it really empowers women. So I put a couple hours back here and there at that boutique, and then do anything else I can with them. So yeah, just a lot of different charities, a lot of different friends. I'm always there to kind of be a worker bee.
I love it. I'm definitely a worker bee too. Mm-hmm. I can put in an hour or 2 hours just about anywhere to help just that little bit. So
mm-hmm. Yep, and sometimes it's all that someone needs is just an extra set of hands. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
And I'm tough.
That I know you, and we can both be extra sets of hands all over the place. Yeah. And I appreciate you taking the time to sit here with me today. I am so excited to share you with all of my people in my little small corner of the world.
Well, thanks so much, and I'm excited to see you again and see what happens with this whole thing.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the My WHIM Life show today. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a moment of the goodness.